In this episode, we're talking specifically about content and the kinds of content that you choose for your radio station website.
This is Better Radio Websites, the podcast for radio professionals who want to see their website generate more traffic and revenue. Each week, your host, Jim Sherwood, and his special guests give you time-tested tips and secret tricks to ensure your radio station dominates digital in your market. Here we go.
Hi, it's Jim, and thanks a lot for tuning in this week. Well, this week we're talking about content, developing a content plan for your radio station website. The key is, just like on your radio station, is to keep visitors coming back day after day after day. If you played the same song on your radio station over and over again every single day, you probably wouldn't get many listeners, would you? Well, the same thing is true for your website. If you just have the same thing on your website every single day, it's not going to generate traffic day after day after day. Now, you may think, okay, well, what if I put an RSS feed on my website? It updates every single day to, let's say, the Rolling Stone or MTV or CMT or whatever other RSS feed that you can find. Really simple syndication is what RSS stands for. And that means that syndicate my content out so I can bring more traffic to my website. And whenever you post an RSS feed on your website, you're basically showing a bunch of reasons why that visitor should leave and go to where that content originated from. And so if you cannot import that content and make the visitors stay on your website, then RSS feeds really aren't the best kind of content for for anything, actually. So the best kind of content that you can have on your radio station website is the content that you cannot find anywhere else. And that means picking local events, local news, things that are happening in your community, because chances are that information is nowhere else to be found. And you have the perfect engine to promote it to your radio station and your social media accounts, your newsletter. You have the perfect vehicle to promote that content. And so if you build it and you promote it, as we talked about last week, then people are going to come and you're going to have those visitors. And the more visitors that you can have on your radio station website, the more your revenue will increase, because just like ratings, if you can get more visitors to your website, you can charge a whole lot more for it. So what kinds of content can you think of? If you look around your community, what kinds of content is nobody else serving? If you're in a very small market with no other big cities around, gosh, the sky is the limit. You're talking high school sports scores, local agriculture news, any events that are happening anywhere around, anywhere close to your town, local personalities take on national news. Nobody can get that anywhere else. Kind of a filter of national or format news, kind of filtered through your personality of the radio station. How about a minute with the mayor, city hall sessions, local mugshots with the police report? You could reach out to your police station and kind of develop a relationship there. Local shopping directory, local restaurant menus, hunting and fishing guides, gardening tips and tricks, local music scene news. If you have maybe some venues around your radio station, and you have a list of lineups on where each one of those venues have coming up, local attractions, swap shop, classifieds, obituaries, job openings, which are huge right now, local business and school closings, that sort of thing. So, I mean, there's a list right there of local content that you could probably not find anywhere else near you. All right. Look around your community, find what the community needs, and then meet that need with your radio station website. Check this out. Just saw and I'm not sure if you're subscribed to Inside Radio or not. It's a website, and I get their daily email. But they had an interview with Townsquare Media's Bill Wilson this week, and the title of the article is Getting Big Results from Small Markets. And in that, I got to read this quote. As many of the smaller markets where Townsquare operates have fallen prey to massive cutbacks by newspapers, creating so-called news deserts, Townsquare, we have stepped in and filled the void with local content creation. The size of our audience, the lack of news and information serving these audiences and what Wilson called a lack of sophisticated advertising solutions, especially on the digital side, created a major opportunity for the company. They went in to where these places were not serving local content and they started doing it, and they're making money off of it. Their audience is building. Now, a tough love question for you right now. If you're in one of these markets where Townsquare operates, don't you wish you had gotten on board with content sooner, before they came to town or before they realized it? All right, that's a tough love question. I mean, your biggest concern as a station owner may be, well, okay, well, who's going to do all this content? Well, you don't have to be really, really big, have a big staff in order to do this. Yes, it may be that one person is a new hire. How about college interns? You have a college nearby and that has a broadcast program. If you are going to get into the broadcast business, you've got to know digital stuff. So if you have colleges nearby that you can get interns from, it may be a new hire. Because if you think about your website as another radio station, you're going to have somebody to operate it on a day to day basis. Like we said last week, you treat your radio station website as a radio station, not just some tool that is under the radio station. So it doesn't require a big staff. As a matter of fact, breezynews.com in central Mississippi is doing fantastic things with a very minimal staff. And they get huge numbers on a day-to-day basis. I got Breck Riley on the phone, who works for Breezy News. Hey, Breck.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Always happy to talk a little radio.
Absolutely. Now, you work at Breezy 101 in Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
Breezy 101, and we have two other stations too, so three-station cluster, Kicks 96 and Cruising 98. But I'm sort of the Breezy 101 guy.
I know each one of these stations has a news site. It's a station site, but it's very news oriented, correct?
Yeah, ours is breezynews.com. The other ones would be kicks96news.com and cruising98news.com. And I think breezynews.com's been going on since about the year 2000. So we've been in the digital business for about 20 years now.
So built quite a presence over time. What do you do there in that cluster?
Well, it's like in, local radio. We have morning shows here. I do the morning show on Breezy 101. Breezy 101 is an AC station. Kicks 96 is country station. Cruising 98 is an oldie station. But we still have like interviews and things. So it's sort of a hybrid. It's like talk/music. So we have interviews that come on. I have the mayor on with me every other week. He comes on and talks about the the alderman meeting and, business of the city and all of that. And, we have coaches shows, local sports teams that come on and they air on our shows. And so it is music, but it's also a little bit of talk. And so it's something kind of unique that we do around here. And then we're really news focused, as you might tell with the breezynews.com. And what we try to do is everything that happens on the radio, we get it on the website. So anytime, everything works on, like other people's time frames nowadays, basically. So not everyone can get up at 6:15 in the morning when the mayor comes on. So we got to make sure that we have it on the air, but we also throw it online. So it's sort of a uniformity thing. So everything that our radio audience hears, the digital audience can find somewhere as well. So that's really kind of what we focus on here, that local content.
I applaud that. That is so amazing to hear that you guys are doing that. And for the folks that don't know, I have some of your numbers here. You're based out of Kosciuszko, Mississippi. Do you have any idea what the population is for your town?
Kosciuszko is about 7,900 for the city, and I think the Tala County is about 17,500 or 18,000.
It's close. Yeah, it's close. 19, but you're right there on Kosciuszko. So in the town there, you got about 7,800, and then Atala County is just a touch over, or no, it's right at 19,000 for the county. So your community that you have is very, very small, and your average page views per day is 20,000. 20,000 page views per day. And we're just talking breezynews.com. We're not talking about the Kicks 96 news. So when you add those together, it's the crazy amount of information that these folks go to you for every single day.
Yeah, and we like to say that, we are in a little bit of a news vacuum here because we're right in the center of the state. So some of the TV stations from Jackson down in the capital, they come up here if there's if there's a murder or there's a fire and people died, for the hard news.
Uh-huh.
That's why they come up here. So there's sort of a vacuum here, and there was a need. And so my mantra is always, we're going to tell them something that nobody else will.
Sure.
So that's why they come to us for that. And as we said, obviously been doing it for 20 years. People got that brand recognition. They know that, hey, get up in the morning, check Breezy News and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. With all of this content that's going on the website, how many folks do you have there actually producing content for your website?
Probably 3 or 4, maybe. Let's see. It's me mostly for Breezy News, and we have a few other people that will put something up. But as far as like the day-to-day content on the website, that's just me. Now, occasionally 2 or 3 other people might have like a special. Somebody sends them something rather than sending me something, and they put it online. But yeah, for the most part, probably just me and maybe one other person that kind of handles like arrests and like hard news.
Mm-hmm.
So like they sort of handle like if there's a wreck or we get arrest reports from different jails and places in the area. They'll send us mugshots and have someone that kind of puts those up online and puts all the pictures, because that can take a little while, and I don't necessarily have a lot of time to go through a bunch of pictures and get all those sorted and put online. I can do what I can, but yeah. So it's not very many. Three
Sure.
at the most.
Wow.
3.
So how many news stories do you average per day?
We try to go with no less than 5. That's what we shoot for.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you know how news goes. Some days it's more, and then some days it's kind of hard to find stuff, especially in a smaller community, a smaller market. That's when you have to get creative. That's when it's good to know the people around, and you can just send a text out to the Chamber of Commerce and be like, hey, y'all have anything y'all would like me to, that we need to promote? And they're like, oh yeah, we're having a wine tasting in downtown tonight or something like that. So that's when you have to dig a little bit deeper, especially in the summertime, where small communities kind of revolve around the school year, and everything kind of big happens in August. And so we're about to be very, very busy. But yes, you start to try to get a little bit more creative when it comes to finding the content. And for me, small town, Facebook is a good place to find content. We did one where everybody was getting these scam phone calls,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was one that was going around for a local bank was sending out text messages saying that, you've been compromised, change your password, all this other stuff. And it turned out to be a scam. We did a story on that. I've seen a bunch of people online talking about how, I'm from whatever bank, and they were like, hey, I don't know if this is true or not. So just called the bank and got their info, and that story blew up just because everybody was dealing with it. So
Wow.
Facebook ended up being a good spot to find that content.
Sure. All right. So you mentioned Facebook, your police station, and Chamber of Commerce. Anywhere else that you might suggest that folks, reach out and look for content if they're looking for content?
Yeah, I mean, you got to know your audience. This is a Facebook community, so that's why I chose Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Some communities might use Twitter more. Twitter is a decent spot for, a lot of companies use Twitter, and a lot of reporters use Twitter, and you can find a lot on there. But yeah, I usually go Chamber of Commerce, the school district. There's plenty of school districts that would love to get information out by someone other than their chain of release points. So getting a relationship with superintendents, in the area, or teachers or anything like that. We have a lady that comes in every Thursday from one of the school districts here, and she records a weekly update, and we just play that. We run it during the week. So it's like, on Monday, Miss Gallagher's class is going to have their class program at 10 o'clock, just stuff like that. And I do tell people, like, one of the biggest stories that I do every year is, it's so simple, but it's so big when we do it, is what day are we going trick-or-treating? Because some cities don't want you to go trick-or-treating on a Tuesday night.
Right.
So they might say it's the Saturday before October 31st, or, whatever it is. But every year I do that, and it becomes one of the biggest stories that we do, just because people, they want to know when they can take their kids trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
And we have another story that got a whole bunch of traffic. And this one was funny just because we have police scanners. Police scanners are big. I mean, they've been big in newsrooms for however long.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a police scanner. We listened to it, and there was there was a chicken at a parking lot at a shopping center. People were freaking out because the chicken was like chasing people. So I thought it was funny. So I go out there and I take some video, use my iPhone. I just take video of this chicken.
Wow.
So that just came across the police scanner. Went out there and got it.
And so how much time would you say that on a typical day you spend creating this content for the website?
Oh, that's pretty much all I do. That's my day from even when I'm doing my radio show. I'm the morning host and the news director. So I do my radio show. And while I'm doing my radio show, I'm posting content because for us, we found, like we said, people have our website bookmarked as their home screen. So when they get up in the morning, that's what they're gonna check. So we found that between 5:30 and 8:30 is really our high traffic area, and we need to get our content for the day online.
Sure.
And so we're really shooting for that morning. But then even after my show's done, I go to supervisor meetings. I didn't get home until, let's see, what was it? I got up to the station at 5:30 on Tuesday, and then we had an alderman meeting that didn't get done until 7 o'clock. So, I'm running I call it running and gunning.
Wow.
For a lot of days.
And so I have to say, you're the morning guy, you're the news director there. No wonder that the Mississippi Association of Broadcasters picked you as their personality of the year for this year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. That's the big one. We were excited about that one.
Which brings me, do you think that being a personality in this day and age means doing all this other stuff? I mean, if you're just coming into the business, do you have to have a good show, or do you have to have a good show and you need to have all of these skills that make you competitive in digital?
Oh, I think you definitely have to have the whole package, I guess I would say, because it's not. I mean, you worked in radio for a long time. You know that radio, you're subject to be the morning host and the janitor.
Right.
It's just kind of what you do in radio. You kind of wear a lot of hats. But yeah, nowadays to be competitive, you've got to have that sort of like the days of the jock just coming in and sitting down and just doing a show. I mean, unless you're Howard Stern or one of the syndicated people that can just that has done that. I think that kind of day is over. I don't even have a call screener. We screen our own calls. We book our own guests, and we don't have any producers. So it's just all us. But yeah, I mean, I think that it kind of also gives you a leg up on your competition because, I mean, when they see that you don't have to go, hey, my show's done. Somebody put it online for me.
Right.
Somebody edit it and put it online, and somebody put a social media post up. Somebody make a YouTube video and put it on there. Like I do all of that. That's media in general now. I think everybody needs to know how to, whether you're TV or whatever else. When I go speak to kids, students at colleges, I tell them that. I'm like, you got to know how to do everything.
That's right. And when blogging and everything just started taking off in the 2000s, everybody, including myself, bucked it a little bit. Oh, come on. I get off the air and then I got to do all these commercials. And then I have a remote coming up at 4. And now I have to write a blog post about whatever I can think up. But if you think about it nowadays, you're not building just an audience on air. You're building an audience online that can revolve 24/7. Like you said at the beginning, they're absorbing that content whenever it's convenient for them. And so, yeah, I mean, it would be totally different if I was back on the air today because I could jump in. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to do this video and blah, 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 blah. And I could probably do it all during my show now.
Yep.
Man, it's just amazing to see what you guys are doing there at breezynews.com and kicks96news.com. Totally amazing.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. So we're happy we like talking about radio around here because it's eat, sleep, and breathe it. And I did that. I slept at the radio station during the ice storm this year. So that's what we do.
Fun. All right, Breck. Thank you so much, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. No problem. Thanks, Jim.
It's truly amazing. I invite you to go to breezynews.com to check it out. Yes, they're getting around 20,000 page views per day with that much advertising in the faces of their visitors. That's one of the reasons that we send so many folks to that website, because the main thing is they look at that website and they go, oh my gosh, this is amazing content, but my goodness, look at all of the ads. Are you serious? They get this much visitors with all of these ads? Yes, they do. And the company is making money. in a town with less than 8,000 people and a county less than 19,000 people. So, of course, the 100,000 watt radio station, so their reach is a whole lot bigger than that one county, but still, it's just amazing what they're doing. So, make a plan to start creating fresh content. Earlier, we gave you some tips on what kinds of content that you can look for. As Breck said, reach out to your local police stations, your chamber of commerce, and jump on Facebook to get in your community and actually find that content and then put it on your website and then promote the heck out of it. Get those numbers going so you can start making more revenue. Thanks a lot for tuning in this week. Next week, we're going to talk about 5 ways to speed up your radio station website. And don't tell breezynews.com that it's reducing ads is one of those reasons. Have an awesome week online, making your radio station website better. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Better Radio Websites. Inspired by today's episode? Be sure you are subscribed and share this episode with a friend. Visit skyrocketradio.com/podcasts for more episodes as well as show notes for this episode. Need help starting or making your station website better? Visit skyrocketradio.com.